Hello and welcome back to 10 at 10. My name is Michael Ramage. I'm the director of the Cyber Education and Research Center here at Murray State University, and welcome back to 10 at 10. 10 at 10 is brought to you through a partnership between Murray State University, Sprocket, West Kentucky, and KY Innovation. And welcome back to 10 at 10, episode 250. We have made it 250 episodes. So today I wanted to do something a little bit different, a little special to celebrate those 250 years. And we're going to bring on one of my colleagues, Dr. Randall Joyce. Dr. Joyce is the coordinator of our Cybersecurity Network Management Bachelor's Program. And what I wanted to do today was just spend a little bit of time looking back over the 250 weeks, 250 episodes that we have had. So going back, January will be 5 years ago that we started the 10 at 10 idea. We came up with it as a way to help raise awareness with what's going on in the security world and what can we do to better ensure that folks are ready to protect themselves. And to say that things have changed a lot over the last 5 years is to put it mildly. So I just wanted to start by the conversation with Randall by saying 5 years ago, nearly 5 years ago, we started this. And from your perspective of what you're seeing, what we're teaching, what we're doing, what are the biggest challenges and conversations back then, and how have they changed over the last 5 years?
Yeah. So, cybersecurity, we're still all about defense. Nowadays, the biggest trend we're seeing is more AI driven deep fakes, attacks, phishing emails, whatnot. So going forward, we're going to learn how to use AI, how to utilize it with our cybersecurity tools, within our networking, business decisions, all of that. So our program's having to adapt to AI and integrate it into our core, essentially.
One of the things I think about is how all this technology, the AI powered attacks, the deep fakes, the automation that's going on in the attacks and the defense, all these things are changing. But one thing that remains constant to me is that for bad guys to break into your system, the easiest way is still for you to click on the link. I mean, it's still the human element. It's still the human factor. The best way to break through a defense is for you to open the door and let me in. And that part of it, with all the technology change, I feel like on 10 at 10 for the last many years, that is what I talk about the most. We'll talk about passwords, we'll talk about two-factor authentication, but it's you still being the management's worst nightmare.
Yeah. Well, and I agree with you, Michael. Human action is probably still the weakest link in your cybersecurity setup. That's why we have to do defense in depth and have multiple layers to try to catch some of that automated task, that go along with it. So hopefully, even if as humans we fail, hopefully our systems are smart enough to catch it. At the network endpoint, somewhere along the way it gets blocked. Hopefully, so.
So what we're talking about, we've gone from just general ransomware. Ransomware is starting to be a thing. I mean, it was a thing back 5 years ago, not to the degree that it is now. Phishing has changed, AI attacks, deep fakes. How are these emerging technologies reshaping how we defend our networks today?
Well, and I guess we've already said it. If they're going to use it as an attack method, we're going to have to use it as a defense. We can't keep up with AI, so we have to use AI to defend against AI essentially. So, is it, looking in our, network theme to say, hey, these are anomalies that we need to investigate further? Is it, endpoint security, looking at user behavior, whatnot? So, I mean, using it for defense is the next big thing. You're still going to always have to have someone to verify what the findings. But like I said, to keep up with this fast pace, we're going to have to use those tools to stay abreast, essentially.
So talk to me a little bit about 5 years ago when we were teaching security. Now, granted, AI has been around since the 1950s, so AI has
Mhm.
officially been there, but it is certainly different today than it was 5 years ago. So, how is AI transforming, the way we detect, the way we respond, but also how we, Murray State, teach about cybersecurity and cyber threats?
Gotcha. So, 5 years ago, we probably weren't. We were aware of AI. We were talking about, hey, this is going to be a future trend. Start learning about it and being aware of it, and looking at how it's being implemented in these systems. Like nowadays, going through the whole project management scope of things, and looking at hierarchies and different business structures and all that. We used to we've talked about CISO, CIOs. Now we're talking about chief information officers for AI in the last few years. So it's rapidly increased that hey, AI is a major player with this, but from the way we're teaching it, like I was saying earlier, we're getting ready to include, a new core AI course into our program. We have an advanced AI course, and it's going to look at how do we use AI throughout, all of our tools, all of our, different multifaceted systems, from networking to system security to administration to, business and whatnot. But like I said, 5 years ago, that we weren't really thinking, hey, it's going to ramp up this fast. Nowadays, it's here. And, if you don't learn about and how to integrate it and how to manage it, that's a big part of it. Is we know everybody's going to use it. So what are all the security implications? How do we actually secure the AI too? We won't be creating AI with algorithms or anything like that. But how do we make sure the infrastructure that contains the AI is secure, and making sure prompt engineering that things are solid and whatnot. So those are a lot of things we're going to be looking at and integrating into our curriculum over the next few years. But like I said, that AI is here. So
Yeah, it is. Well, and I think about two parts to this. One is the everything we do has to have an element of AI in it. The bad guys are doing it, and like you say, uh, we have to do it as well. On the flip side, the fundamentals on how we do cybersecurity, how we protect, looking at the CIA triad, the
mhm,
confidentiality, integrity, availability, and all the different pieces that go into it. It's a new technology, it's a new way of thinking, but the fundamentals are all the same. So the students that we prepare, if you're prepared with those fundamentals, then no matter that technology evolution, and it is an evolution, that they'll be ready. So I think that's an important piece
yeah.
to to have.
Well, well, and like you said, the strong foundation is there, but adding on to the AI knowledge base is going to be helpful to strengthen that foundation too.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
yep.
So let me. We got time for maybe a question or two more, and I want to
Okay.
change focus. You know me, the policy guy.
Yep.
Um, cybersecurity always starts as an IT issue.
Mhm.
Over the last 5 years, more than that, but really we've seen it develop a lot in the last 5 years. IT has moved from I'm sorry, cybersecurity has moved from an IT issue to a boardroom and a policy issue. Um, how do you think that state government legislation, federal legislation, state level you know, groups that are pushing things, federal programs, AI, all these different pieces? How do you think that's changing the conversation? And is it finally moving to a boardroom issue?
Yeah. So, I mean, like we were talking about 5 years ago, we saw, the ramp up of ransomware attacks, breaches, and, cyber physical issues and all that out and about with cybersecurity and IT. So everybody's very aware of it nowadays. And with AI, collecting data brokers, and all that, I think a lot of this is going to be more of a boardroom. It's going to be more legislators working through a lot of this stuff. Just to set pace for policy for cybersecurity and what's actually being dictated and sent out. Um, to sort of have some framework and guidelines on what can we do. Like we talked about IoT at some point. Back in the day, billions of devices are being produced. What kind of security standards are being put on them nowadays? There's regulations and compliances and all that stuff for these devices. So I think a lot of the stuff, we will see a lot more policy that has cyber in mind, and with some of the regulations and requirements for cybersecurity. So things are going to be upfront instead of behind, hopefully. So
Yeah, and I think part of that, and I'll finish with this comment. I think a large part of that is liability. That as boardrooms realize the liability of not doing the right thing with cyber stops with them, then companies are going to have to do those. And I think that's going to drive companies, continue to drive companies into the future. And what's going to change about that is that it's not just the technology that we've been using for 20 years. It's going to be evolving with AI and quantum computing and all the different things that are going to be coming over the next decade. But it's going to have that underline of liability requirements. And if we don't do the right thing, then we can be sued. I
yeah,
think that's going to drive a lot.
and like I said earlier, we're seeing that some of these boardrooms are adding like the chief AI officer, and they're adding in some of these key players into their actual boardroom for those liability purposes nowadays. So
Yeah.
I think cyber is always going to have a seat at the table now. So
Yep, I think that's right. Well, let me stop there and just say thank you for hopping on today. I know we did this before, and I said we're going to have to do it more often, but I really do mean it this time. We're going to do this more often because I like having this interaction. But thank you very much, and to those that are watching, let me say, please reach out, share questions, let me know if there's things that you want to talk about. We've been doing this for 250 years, and it's our goal to continue doing this for another 250, or not years, weeks. Just feels like years sometimes, but we want to do this for another 250 episodes. So reach out if there's a topic you want us to discuss. Let me know. We'll bring it up. If I'm not the right one to talk about it, I'll find the person to do it. But thank you very much. We went a little bit long, but it was the 250th episode, so I feel like we get that grace. But anyway, thank you very much for joining in. I'll see you next week back here on 10 at 10. Thank you. Bye.